Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vedanta means analyzing and learning from our own experiences in the light of wisdom established in the scriptures. If we are able to learn from our experiences, then alone we are practicing Vedanta. Otherwise, it is only a mechanical reading and no change whatsoever comes in oneself. Therefore, we were given in this Aparokshanubuti first the fourfold qualification, Viveka Vairagya Samadhi Shadaka Sampatti, and such a person is now engaged in inquiry. Now, what is the meaning of inquiry? That was told in about a dozen verses. Then we were told the discrimination between the self and the not self. How do we differentiate what is the self and what is the not self? And when the knowledge takes place, what is the nature of this knowledge? That I cannot be the Panchakoshas, but someone eliminating them, etc. Thereafter, the instruction for the knowledge were given, and after the instructions were given, then we were told that how the duality is an illusion and not the reality. And after that, we have come to a point that this whole world is the Brahman, the reality, and also we were told the whole world is an illusion. The world is an illusion if we give importance to names and forms. The world is a reality if we go beyond the names and the forms. After that was told, then we were brought to a subjective point that under no condition the gross body can be me. This has to be done emphatically and very strongly. So this topic is beginning from verse number 70. We have completed up to 69 verses in our last session. Now here we will start from the 70th verse. There are only three stages through which a spiritual seeker has to go. Stage number 1, withdrawal from the world. Stage number 2, freedom from the body identification. Stage number 3, dissolving the notion of being a soul or the jiva. These are the three stages. So when we are able to withdraw from the world, then only we can rise above the body identification. And after we have risen above the body identification, then the question comes about our identity, then who we are. So we are told we are the jiva, the soul. And then we inquire, what is the meaning of this jiva? Is it an individuality or it is a manifestation? These are the stages through which we all have to go. Ananya pantha vidyate janaya, there is no other way than this. Therefore, we are now come to the second stage as to how we cannot be the body, and for that a lot of examples are given. And when we go through these examples, maybe out of so many examples, one may click. See, when we take one stone and hit at a pillar or a post, it will not hit because we are not expert. Then what we do, we take a handful of stones and throw, at least one will hit. In the same manner, we keep on repeating it. This is called as Brahmabhyasa. We keep on repeating it again and again from different standpoints. And maybe one standpoint may just click. And therefore it is said again and again in the next 10-15 verses, how we cannot be the body. Sarpatvena yatha rajju rajatvena rajatatvena shuktikam vinirnita vimudhena dehatvena tathatmata. vimudhena, by a fool. What is done? Yatha rajju sarpatvena vinirdita. The rope is mistaken to be the snake because of the foolishness, and rajatatvena shuktika, and shuktika, the shell, is mistaken to be a piece of silver. What is the reason? Vimudhena. Now what is the mudhata? What is the foolishness? Foolishness is we do not have sufficient authority of knowledge to establish something. For example, the rope is mistaken as a snake. Under what conditions? Let us find out. When there is only absolute darkness, you can see nothing, then you will never have the snake and the rope problem. If you have sufficient light to see the rope as a rope, if your eyes are wide open and you are not in a dream world, then you know the rope as a rope. There is no problem. So when there is absolute ignorance, there is no problem. When there is absolute knowledge, there is no problem. The problem comes when there is incomplete knowledge. We see something is there, but what it is not known. Now what is the reason? Because there is no sufficient light. We are in a depressed mood. See? Then what do? We go to see the snake. How do we go? We go with a proper means of knowledge. The torch is taken, we take a stick, in case there is a snake, we can kill it. See? And then we go. And when we put on the torch light on that apparent snake, the snake disappears. So there wisdom has dawned. Why? Because we have used the right means of knowledge. We are not carried away by our perceptions. Normally we get carried away by our perception. Like so many examples are given, we will take one by one. So, vinirnita vimudhena dehatvena tathatmata. Similarly, under the impulse of this foolish experience, we mistake that body is me. Unless this basic error is corrected, whatever you may do under the disguise of spirituality is all wastage. See, friends, this is the goal. There is no other way. This is the way. So unless we are convinced of this, see, when we are convinced of this, what happens? Now, number one, when I know that this particular place, our Prem Puri Ashram, doesn't belong to me, I have no authority of any kind, and I come here for a week. So what is my attitude towards this? When I come, I start counting 7, 6, 5. I never have that notion that I had to stay here for all the time. No. Because I use it, but I don't own it. And when I don't own this place, I have no worries. See, I don't carry the load of ownership. If this is true, now same thing applies to the body. When we know that this body cannot be me, what will be the impact of this knowledge? Everything in relation to the body, everything in relation to the ashram, I am not worried. Because I don't carry the ownership for this building. In the same manner, when I don't carry the ownership for the body, then the mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, in-law, outlaw, everything is deleted in a second. See, we have all these secondary selves only because the basic error that the body I am. See, how much we are disgusted because of this relational and possessive load that we carry throughout our life. All the time. Same thing, husband like that, wife like that, children like that. La, la, la. The other day somebody came to meet me in Ahmedabad. I was so tired. And the moment Swamiji, 5 minutes. Therefore, I never give any time to anybody to meet me separately. Meet me in public. So they are also feeling shy to ask, and I am saved. Otherwise, there is nothing. What they want, that others should listen to them. And nobody listens to them. Therefore, Swamiji is there to listen. Suna usko. So when the complaints were coming, like that, my husband had some, operation, and then I had this operation, and then my son is not doing well and he is not getting a good job. I said, Mama, when you got married, did you take my permission? No, it is your creation, suffer silently. Don't pull me into that. See, friends, our spirituality is, world should change according to me. See? Our driving license means when we are driving, people should behave properly on the road. That is not a driving license. We have to change ourselves. See? So when we take this stand, the body I cannot be, all the relational problem will disappear. Second thing, if something happens to this building, I know this is not my building, will I be worried? I will be philosopher. All that is created is subject to destruction. See, all the worry is gone. In the same manner, apply it to your body. See, friends, all the problems begin from the body identification. So, vimudhena vinirnita dehatvena tathatmata. So, under the spell of this foolishness, we have taken that the deha, the body, is the atma. That is why, please reflect on this point. One person asked me this question in Varanasi. He said, Swamiji, you are again and again insisting never talk about the past. But whenever I sit with you, I talk about the past. So what do you feel? I said, I have no choice. First of all. Second thing, you talk, but do I listen? Talking may be in your mouth, but hearing is in my mind. I don't listen. But why shouldn't we talk? Suppose we don't talk, then what will we do? I said, keep mouth shut. See, there is no need to talk. But what is the objection? I said, okay, listen. When you talk about your childhood, childhood belongs to whom? To you or the body? Childhood belongs to the body. And who are you? The one who was present in that body and the one who is present in this old body. So what you are doing? You are making a saudana ki khichdi. The young or the childhood age of the body and the eternal unchanging principle who was present then and who is present now. You are making a khichdi out of it, and net result, I am the body. See, friends, therefore, vimudhena tatha dehatvena atmata vinirnita. Therefore, friends, this is one of the most important principles. But when this doesn't go, two persons I came across. Once in Varanasi, other in Ahmedabad. Recently, Varanasi person. After my lecture was over, two very huge, strong-built people came. And then I asked them, Mahatma, Pahalwan Saab, kaise ho? Oh, you recognize us that we are Pahalwan? I said, yes, from your physique, you look like a Pahalwan. He said, I have got a problem. I said, you also have a problem? You are a problem for everybody. How can you have a problem? No, I am teaching Pahalwani in a school and college, but the problem is no student wants to come and join. What should I do? I said, you join politics. You will be the fittest person. Now you come to satsang where you are told that you are someone other than the body, and after listening to satsang, this is the question people should take up to Pahalwani. Hare Ram Ram. That means what he has heard. See? And those who are too much body oriented, they have got a different quality of life. Another example, in one university, I go there, and very class university. The topmost students of the country get admission there. Not any Tom, Dick and Harry. And there is one teacher who is supposed to teach their physical education for yoga and games and gymnastics and swimming. That is his job. So when I went there, he said, Swamiji, how come you are here? I said, how come you are here? He said, I am a teacher here. So we became friends. After a day or two, nothing but complaints. I feel like somewhere it is written on me, complaint box. People come and put it. Complaint. Swamiji, here everything is so beautifully available. Gym is there. Olympic size swimming pool is there. Games are there. Everything is so beautiful. Not a single student wants to come and do it. I get so disgusted. I said, do you get your salary? Yes. Relax. No, but these people should do it. I said, if you are interested in that, go to Patiala. You know what is Patiala? Where the brains migrate from the cranium to the patella. It's called as Patiala. I said, intellectuals can never be interested in physics. But they'll be all the time talking only about the physical body, physical body, physical body. Therefore, friends, if we analyze our experiences, we come to know that there cannot be any justification to insist that we are the body. Ghatattvena yatha prithvi patattvena eva tandavaha vinirnita vimudhena dehattvena tathatmata. See? Actually, we are looking at the earth element, but we call it as a pot, or we are looking at the fibers, but we call it as a cloth. So what is happening? We are giving some names because importance is for the forms. So wherever there are names and forms important, samsara begins. See? And the names and forms go so deep in our system that the Supreme Court has to give the judgment. The ladies can maintain and retain their maiden name. See? So the first generation, Mrs. Anubhavananda Deshpande Kulkarni. Now she will also have children. Now that child will be her own also name and the other name. So, Mrs. Deshpande Kulkarni Khobragade. Then the fourth generation. See? Mrs. Deshpande Kulkarni Khobragade Shah. Ultimately, it will be full of only titles and no name. See? How much importance for the names and how much importance for the form. This is how, wherever there is undue importance for the name and the form, we identify with the body. That is the technique, I follow. I address people in a very dignified manner. Maharaj, Bhagwan, Prabhu, they feel I am giving them respect. But the truth is, I don't know their names. And I don't have to remember anybody's name. Because the moment we go to the name, we are dividing the society. This I learned from my own experience. I was going somewhere on a scooter in Rajasthan many years before. New scooter, Hamara Bajaj. And I was going at a very high speed, and because of that speed and new scooter, the piston ring got heated up and got jammed. So the scooter stopped. And I didn't know what is happening. So I was so frustrated what to do. And I saw two persons coming opposite on an old Lambretta. So they stopped. What happened? I said, this is what happened. Oh, don't worry, we'll do it. So one sat, another was pushing, and their old emirata was left. And they started and went. I said, now gone. What else can I do? But after about 5-10 minutes, they went and came back and they said, go slow. Don't go very fast. It will not be good for you. You will reach Jaipur easily. I said, already started. Now out of, courtesy, I said, are you from Bombay? He said, yes, Bombaya. Then I said, what's your name? Casually, Abdul Karim. Immediately, Musalman. See? Our mind is so conditioned by names and forms, we are unable to go beyond. See, friends. And the rule is, we look at the world as we look at ourselves. This is the fundamental rule. If I consider myself to be Gujarati, then others are non-Gujarati and Gujarati. If I consider myself to be Indian, then people are Indian, non-Indian. If I consider myself to be a man, then there are men and women. If I consider myself to be old, then the world is old and young. Thus, we look at the world as we look at ourselves. See, friends, we have to recognize this principle. Therefore, unless we rise above our body identification, there is zero possibility of any progress further. Therefore, Vinirnita Vibudhena Dehatvena Tathatmata. We are seeing the earth and we call it as a pot, and we are seeing the threads and we call it as a cloth, because name and form is given importance plus the utilitarian approach. Further, Kanakam Kundalatvena Tarangatvena Vaijalam Vinirnita Vimudhena Dehatvena Tathatmata. So, Jalam Vai Tarangatvena. We are looking at the waters and we call it as the waves. We are looking at the water, we call it as the ocean. We are looking at the waters and we call it as a fountain. We look at the water, we call it as a fall. Thus, water is abused by many names. See, in the same manner, we are essentially divine. Instead of recognizing our divinity, we are abusing the divinity as body. See, and therefore, one has to again and again insist that under no condition the body should be accepted by us as our own self. Karakam Kundalatvena. Now see how it is. When we look at the ornament, our first question comes, is there gold in the ornament? But the truth is other way around. The ornament is superimposed on the gold. Gold is the reality, ornament is the reality plus names and forms. And therefore, unless we give up the names and the forms, we will never be able to get out of this body identification. That is the reason, when sannyas diksha is given, the name and the form is changed. The form is changed by remaining abnormal. Gentlemen, they shave properly, they comb properly. Babaji, okay, immediately grow wild. Normal people put on decent dress, Babaji will be putting on abnormal dress. So form is changed, so also the name is changed. Now, Choratvena yatha sthanuhu, Jalatvena marichika, Vinirnita vimudhena, Dehatvena tathatmata. Yatha sthanuhu choratvena vinirnita. In the evening, twilight, there is a post somewhere, we don't know. And when we are standing and going that way, we start imagining, what is that? I don't know. But we heard that there are many thieves in this area. And then we start imagining that there is a thief and he is going to kill me. And therefore we get frozen. And I hope he doesn't come, I hope he doesn't come. After 10 minutes he is still alive. He is in samadhi or what? He is not coming forward. Then we gather courage and go near. It was just a post. In the same manner, the second one is Jalatvena marichika. The mirage is recognized as the waters, but it is not. be attentive. What is meant in these two examples is any experience which is gathered through the sense organs and the mind is not worth trustworthy. It will keep on changing. The same thing which you like. Example I'll give you. Once I was in Visakhapatnam. Visakhapatnam is a very beautiful place, very long, sea line, almost few miles. And there is some little bit of hillock. So when we are going, evening time for my talk somewhere, and I said, hey, stop. We stopped there. I came out of the car. There was beautiful sun going into the sea, wide width of the sea expanse, and there was a garland of birds which were flying towards the sun, and it was looking as if somebody has put on a beautiful garland on the Lord's sun. Such a beautiful sight it was. So I stopped there. And after some time, everything disappeared. Then, next day when we were going, so when we went to that spot, my friend stopped the car. I said, hey, why did you stop? Yesterday you told. I said, yesterday gone. You cannot repeat it again. It's gone. See? Because that particular experience was under n number of factors. There has to be the sun in that particular angle. There has to be a nice breeze. There has to be a garland of birds. And it is not there every day. So whatever we have seen, it was just a temporary phenomena under n number of conditions. If those n number of conditions are not fulfilled, there is no experience possible. Now apply this principle in our day-to-day life. When our mood is not good, what? When is never good? Give some other example. Okay, when our mood is good, it's rarely. See? Like, it so happened, there was one father, he was a Hitler brand. For anything, he'll be shouting and becoming angry and talking ill and hitting the children. One day it so happened, the father got up and everything was cool, no shouting, no nothing. The children were worried. Something wrong with dad. He is not normal. He was never like that. And it continued. One day he is cool, second day he is not talking. Third day also, when something is lying on the floor, he looks at it but doesn't say anything. Then everybody in the house started worried. What happened? He is such a terrible monster, but so cool. Going and lying in the bed, not getting up, not taking bath, no shaving. So they called the doctor. Why? Abnormal. Normally, he is a monster. When he is cool, abnormal. In the same manner, when for a change our mood is good and we are no more shouting at each other or behaving in a wrong manner, then the perception of the world is different. And when our mood is very bad, you are very hungry and you want to go and take food, and with great difficulty you get the food, and then very time you get a phone call, somebody has died and all that, will you be able to enjoy the food? See, how many factors are there? Therefore, the thumb rule is, any experience which demands n number of conditions for happening, that experience is an illusion. Is there any experience where we do not require any condition? Yes, there is one experience. And that experience is our own being. Whether waking, dream, deep sleep or samadhi, whether angry or not angry, whether miserable or not miserable, whether successful or not successful, under all conditions, our experience of our own presence remains uncorrupted because it is not gathered through either the sense organs or the mind or the intellect. Now what sadhana we have to do? Simply remain aware of this presence. And when we remain aware of the presence and absence of body becomes equal. See? There is no difference thereafter. Therefore, as the mirage waters which appear under n number of conditions, if somebody tells you that, hey man, last night I was coming from that side and I saw mirage water on the way. It cannot be. So, vinirnita vimudena dehatvena tathatmata. So, under the spell of foolishness, we mistake the body to be the self. Continuing further, guruhatvenaiva kashthani khadgatvenaiva lohata vinirnita vimudena dehatvena tathatmata. Kashthani gruhatvenaiva. Actually, it is wood, but we call it as a house. See? So what is the difference between wood and the house? Only addition of name and form. See, the other day I gave you example, if you remember, one child made a beautiful house out of the plastic blocks. And when I told him, hey, give me this house, it is so beautiful, give me. He said, okay, take it, but the blocks I will take away. If the blocks are taken away, you cannot take the house, because the house is what? Nothing but a form given by a particular method. See? Therefore, gruhatvenaiva kashthani khadgatvena eva lohata. The iron is given the name that it is a sword or it is a dagger, etc. In the same manner, the reality is forgotten and the body is called as the self. And therefore, when we talk about, see, I don't feel old, Swamiji. Although I am 78, I don't feel old. Now, when we make this statement, can we be cool and analyze this statement? See, body is 78 years old. So, body has grown, therefore it has become old, yes. Any modification, any change can be established only if there is a non-changing reference. Then only change can be established. If there are two cars going in the same direction, same speed, you cannot know whether the cars are moving or not. But when the car is moving and the trees at a distance or a mountain is not moving, then only we know that the car is moving, not the other thing. Therefore, the changes are established only with reference to the unchanging factor. So the one who says that I don't feel I am old because we can never experience our growth. We can never experience the influence of time. Therefore, khadgatvena lohata vinirnita vimudena dehatvena tathatmata. So under the spell of this foolishness, we mix up the age factor of the body and the unchanging self that we are, and then we say, I is old. The real I is beyond the influence of time. It cannot be old or young. Yatha vruksha viparyaso jalad bhavati kasyachit tadvad atmani dehatvam pashyati ajnana yogataha. Now here another topic is taken. When we are standing near a lake, we see the trees upside down because it is reflected upside down. Tadvat in the same manner, Tadvat Atmani Dehatvam, in the same manner, we start imagining the other way around. Instead of the body being in me, I start imagining I am in the body. Now be very attentive. This is one of the most simple and effective way to get out of the body identification. Only by understanding. See, in Yoga Vasishta, this point is brought out emphatically so many times. At present, our experience is I am in the body and the world is outside me. Now, Viparnyasa, this has become upside down. How? In the second chapter of Panchadashi, this topic is brought out very exhaustively. So, here, according to this example, the body is alive because of the prana or the breathing. So, prana is the support and body is the supported. If the prana goes out, body cannot survive. So, the prana is in the body or the body is in the prana. It is the other way around. Then we go one step further. The mind is the support, the container, and the prana and the body are the contents. Because mind is more pervasive than the prana and the body. So the mind becomes the container, and in that container of the mind is the prana and the body. Now we go further. This mind, prana and the body, they are contained in the I notion. Whose body? My body. Whose prana? My prana. Whose mind? My mind. If I is not there, there cannot be body, prana or the mind. So this I factor is the real container and the bodies are the contents. Now we go last step. This I is nothing but the reflection of the pure consciousness in the waters of the intellect, Chidabhasa. So, if there is no sun, there cannot be reflection of the sun in the waters. In the same manner, unless there is a pure conscious self, it cannot be reflected in the container of this intellect. And therefore, everything is existing in the absolute consciousness. This is the truth. But our understanding is, therefore, many students you must have seen, when they sit for meditation, they want to go inside. Because Atma is so sukshma. What happened? Don't worry, I am going in, gone. No, that is not the way. And when this thing is done, they develop many abnormalities in thinking and also in their physiology. Many students come across, we come across them, they say, I have been having splitting headache since I started doing meditation, it is not going. I went to the doctor and they have taken the CT scan and every kind of thing, but nothing is helping. I don't know what should I do. I have done japa, I take bath and everything. It's only because a wrong approach. See, how is the wrong approach? If you take a cloth and if this cloth has got a loose thread somewhere, but the thread is, one side it is loose, other side it is still sticking to the cloth. And if I pull it forcibly, then what will happen? The cloth will get accumulated here because it is not cut. If you understood this, exactly the same way, without the mind being separated from the body, if you by force start pulling it up, because you have heard somewhere that the Kundalini is going up and it comes over here, it goes over here, and therefore you keep on doing. So you are pulling yourself without body disidentification. As a result, all the pranas become totally confused. The thought process becomes abnormal. See, friends, such people become extremely abnormal in their whole life. Because it is wrongly practiced. See, on the contrary, if you take this approach that the body is in the prana, so we have dropped the body, we have come to the prana. The prana and body is in the mind. We have dropped the two, we have come to the mind. When these three are in the intellect, the I, we have come to the I. And now you will come to know who is miserable? I, the husband. So how are you husband? When you are identified with the body. If you are not identified with the body, how can you be the husband? Then who you are, how does it matter? One thing is true, you are not husband. Be happy. See, the whole process is only erroneous thinking. The day you start asserting this, see, without any effort, prayatna shaitilya, without any effort, you merge in the absolute like the fish to the water. No efforts are required. It is so simple. So this viparyasa, the contrary understanding. So the contrary understanding is the tree is having the roots below and the branches above, but in the reflection in the water we come to see it is the other way around. This is called as viparyasa. So present knowledge is I am inside the body. This is viparyasa. So what will be the right thing? The body is in me, but I am not in the body. See, the moment you practice this, give it a try. Start playing what it is like being the gross space. What must be the experience of the space? Don't do anything. Only play or reflect on this. It is not doing, it is only a recognition. Then we come to know Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyaapaha, na shoshayati marutaha. The space is not destroyed by the earth, or it is not made wet by the waters, nor burned by the fires, and not dehydrated by the air. That is space. So when these four elements have no impact on the space, so if I take the position of space, what it will mean? The whole world will have no impact on me. Then go on reflecting. The space is one. The bodies are many. So when there are many, there are thoughts. If there is only one, no thoughts. See? Take the worldly thoughts, hundreds of them. Take the japa. Sri Ram, Sri Ram, Sri Ram. Continuous series of thoughts. Take only once and stop. Sri Ram. Mind dissolves. Mind disappears, but we continue to be. This thought-free knowledge is the reality, and the inverted knowledge that I am in the body and therefore I am suffering. If the body is old, I am old. If the body is young, I am young. Tadvat atmane dehatvam pashyati ajnana yogataha. Therefore, because of this incomplete knowledge, see friends, we have to have clarity about all these things. Simply mechanically taking the mala in the hand and then go on doing like this, in between jhatka, because the mala gets entangled, And how long are we going to cheat ourselves? To show to the public, putting it below this. Mahatma is doing japa. And what Mahatma is doing? Khujli. See friends, unless we are able to recognize these facts clearly, come to the one. When you come to the one, everything disappears. Eka chintanat nashametyada. See, is only the contemplation and understanding. Avichara kruto bandhaha vicharena nivartate. It is because of the incomplete understanding that we are in a bondage. Therefore, tadvat atmani dehatvam pashyati ajnana yogataha. Further, potena gacchataha pumsaha sarvam bhati va chanchalam tadvad atmani dehatvam pashyati ajnana yogataha. Potena gacchataha pumsaha sarvam bhati iva chanchalam. Potena, by a boat, when somebody is going, everything around him seems to be moving. In fact, it is the boat that was moving and not the things around. In the same manner, we go on imagining that the whole world is changing, that is me. But the one who is illuminating all the changes is the reality. So what is happening? Our attention or focus is in a wrong place. See? Those of you who operate on the laptops or PCs, they know that there are different layers. And suppose you open 3-4 windows at a time. All of them are seen, but all of them are not activated. One window at a time. And those windows are separated by so micro thickness of the layers that they are appearing many, but they are only one. So, in the same manner, when we are able to recognize, only change the focal length. Who is miserable? Husband. Where from husband has come? Identification with the body. When we were not identified with the body, was I husband? No. So this husband is born temporarily because of the body identification. So what is to be done? Then play the role of being a husband. Don't become serious as a husband. That's all. That is why in our scriptures it is said again and again, the whole world is nothing but Krishna Leela, Rama Leela. See, there are things in this world which we have to go through. There are no options. So the only way what we can do is take them lightly and delete them as early as possible. Never retain them in our mind. So, potena gacchata pumsa sarvam bhati chanchalam iva. Everything appears to be moving. Now here I will give one more example of a similar type which I gave you long time back, and I am sure by God's grace you must have forgotten. See, next time when you go by train, sit near the window and look outside. You will come across 3 experiences. Number 1, those things which are very nearer to the railway track, they will be running in the opposite direction with the same speed with which your train is running. Then you look at a distance somewhere, you will come across a point where nothing is moving, it remains stationary. And then you look at a far distant place, mountains or the stars and moons, etc. There you will come to know that those distant objects are running along the same direction where the train is moving. Now you see all 3 of them together. What will you see? There is a circle formed. The vehicle, the things which are nearest to the train, they are going in the opposite direction. In the center, there is no movement, and distance it is along the direction of the train. So it becomes a complete circle. Now that circle is merely an appearance. It is not real. After you have recognized this, then if you start looking at this and taking this to be real, then you are in samsara. Then what is to be done? Come to recognize that this circular appearance is not real. So what is to be done? First of all, jump out of the train. And then look. You will see nothing is moving. See, friends. So what was happening? The movement of the train was superimposed in 3 different ways. See, exactly the same way. The movement of the body in time, space, size is superimposed on the self. And then the self is called as a man or woman, young or old, and joy or sorrows, victory or defeat, and thus the samsara begins. What is the reason? The reason is Tadvad Atmani Dehatvam Pashyati Ajnana Yogataha. So come to recognize all that is changing is merely an appearance. Appearance is that which appears but which is not. Continuing further, Pi Tattvam hi yatha shubhre doshat bhavati kasyati tadvad atmani dehatvam pashyati ajnana yogataha. Pi Tattvam, a person has put on the yellow goggles. And when you put on the yellow goggles, that yellowness is neither in our eyes nor it is in the world. But because we are looking through the yellow medium, we will come to know everybody in this town are suffering from jaundice. Now, where is that jaundice? See, friends, this is another very important principle. The quality of our instrument of perception determines the quality of our understanding. See, the other day, one student asked me this question. Swamiji, I don't know, I don't get concentration for studies, what should I do? I said, look here, when you don't get concentration, forget about it, go to sleep. And when your sleep is over, don't hang on to the bed, immediately come out and then start reading. See the difference. See, when the mind is tired, you cannot recognize, understand anything. Therefore, here the teacher says, when the mind is disturbed, understanding will be disturbed. Same way, if the understanding is confused, experiences are confused. Therefore, all our experiences are determined by the quality of the instrument through which we are perceiving, and therefore we mistake that body is me. This point I told you number of times. Repeat it to yourself rather than Ram 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 Ram. Say, I cannot be this body. I cannot be this body. This body is not created by me. This body never listens to me. See? When you thus go on insisting it again and again, I tell you friends, our involvement in the world starts getting minimum. See? You can never get interested. See, this example I spoke probably this morning. How do we take our life? See? We all have come in this world for a vacation. Don't we go for vacation? See, the other day I went to Norway, most beautiful country in the world, most beautiful. And guest house where I was staying, a very neatly done wooden bungalow, and a very big, nice lake in front where we can go for boating, rowing, etc. And one side mountains covered with the snow, other side long, wide, green lawns kind of thing, beautiful tree, one road going serpentine. And I was staying there for 1 week. So first day when I said, aha, what a beautiful place. So first day I wanted to sit outside. Okay, sit outside. After I sat outside, in 2 minutes, if I had to close, why sit outside in the cold? First day, as much I enjoyed. Second day, the enjoyment intensity was reduced. Third day, it was still further reduced. Fourth day, it went down. And then, okay, tomorrow is our flight. We have to get our taxi organized. We have to reach there on time. Blah, 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 blah. Then no mountain, no snow, no greenery, no lake, no beautiful house, only going. Now understand this principle. We are here on a vacation. So, prepare to go. Pack your luggage. And when we go home, are we not eager to go home? See? Because there is all that what we want, we get it. Whichever way it is. The comforts of the 5-star can never attract your mind for a longer period of time. But at home you go, pull your chair with 3 legs and one brick. See? And there's only one hand and you sit on one side. And then you tell your wife, get me a cup of tea, and she shouts at you. The moment you come, tea, you should have been born in a tea garden. And then she gives you tea in a cup which is broken without ear. And she comes and bangs it on the table. And you take that. Aha, Brahmanandam Paramasukhatam. Because you are at home. See? And you go in the 5-star hotel, they are, sir, you feel, you are being insulted constantly, sir. Sir, kha rahe. See? In the same manner, we are all here for a vacation. Prepare to go. You will be cheerful and happy in life. But we imagine, we are for eternity here. And then like Hiranyakashipu, we are all Hiranyakashipu. We want to live as a body all the time. I should not die. What is the way to do Kaya Kalpa? Then what will you do? I want to live long. For what? See, this is very basic things. Health. I agree, health is required. But can health be the goal of life? Look at the healthy people. They are creating problems in the whole world. You see the terrorists, none of them is unhealthy. On the contrary, unhealthy people are busy with their own unhealthy condition. Anybody, when God comes, God, dukh raha hai. They become so introvert. They are all the time connected. Therefore, they don't trouble others. Therefore, it's good that we have got problems. So, tadvad atmanidehatvam pashyati ajnana yogataha. And you know what happens? We being essentially divine, we can never imagine our absence. And therefore, we want to live long. And then we want to live long not as a self, but as a body to be the self. See, get this point, it's a very subtle point. Therefore, the desire to live long or the desire to end one's life, both are based on only body identification. When somebody wants to commit suicide, what he imagines, if the body dies, I will die. If somebody wants to live long, then what he imagines, if the body lives long, I will live long. Therefore, the only way to get out of the body identification is live at a zero desire level. Desires are only with reference to the body. See? In the deep sleep, we are not identified with the body, therefore no desires. And when there are no desires, we are happy. And when we are happy, we snore. The Brahmananda trailer is in snoring. Khar, 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 goes on. And you know, when somebody is happy, he is not in a hurry. And therefore, people when they snore, very comfortably. See, we are having a retreat somewhere in Gujarat, and in a morning class, meditation class. And meditation will start. And our was not, because we are studying there Dakshinamurti. So, it was not mechanical. Go and sit down, now do this asana, hold on to your nose and hang yourself. No, not that way. Straight away we take up the contemplative thought, and in no time everybody disappears. in no time. And some of them were so expert that they will disappear from the world. Because when there is no body identification, there cannot be desires. Now read it the other way around. So what is the way to attain freedom from body identification? Entertain minimum desires. Dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarashava. Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita. The desires which are not contrary to the dharma, that desire is me. For example, in the prayer of the Durga Mata, it comes Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Kshudha Rupena Samstita Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha. So the Kshudha or hunger or thirst, they are the expression of the same divine in the body. So to have hunger and therefore to desire for food is normal. But unless there is a handwa and dhokla, I cannot eat. But we don't have handwa and dhokla, we have got khakra and thepla. I am always surprised. Gujaratis are so sweet people. But all the words that they use, decree. For the child, decree. It's something like abuse. Hey, decree. So when we insist for a particular type of food, then it creates samsara. If you are hungry, whatever comes by God's will, yadrucha lava santushtaha. Then there is no samsara. Therefore, whenever anything is recognized by us through the limitation of the sense organs or the mind, those experiences are to be deleted. Like with the yellow goggles, when we say that the world is suffering from jaundice, you should not take it seriously. Just take as it is. Continuing further, Chakshurabhyam Brahmashilaabhyam Sarvam Bhati Brahmatmakam Tadvadatmani Dehatvam Pashyati Ajnana Yogataha. See? One day I was going by some car somewhere and somewhere near our Vile Parle area, lot of traffic jam. And the car was old type Fiat. So I was sitting in the front seat and there nothing to do, but the car was kept on. So my head I put on that window glass and lying like this thing. And when I opened, I discovered something beautiful. Because of the vibration of the car, my head was also vibrating, cut like that. And therefore all that I was seeing outside, that was also vibrating. Sab dunya hil rahi hai. Then again I shifted my head apart from or away from the door, then everything was still. Again I put it there, again it started. So it was a eureka. The influence of the medium through which you look at the world is what is called as samsara. And therefore we must know this much very clearly. If the eyes are constantly moving like this, after some time you start everything is moving. Like the children play, when they stand like this and go in circle and circle and circle, then everything starts moving around. In the same manner, the Brahmatmakam Tadvat Atmane Dehatvam, similarly, the body is mistaken to be the self out of the delusion, out of the wrong notions. See? You know what is the body like? A good example. You must have seen, let us take Ganges. Recently I was in Ganges, so I remember. When the Ganges are flowing in one direction, naturally only in one direction, the whole sheet of water is flowing. And it is so smooth and so slow. But in between, there are many whirlpools. Now see what happens. there are two movements. One movement is a natural movement of the water towards the sea. The second movement is created under n number of conditions, and which is called as the whirlpool. Now in that whirlpool, there are again two movements. One is the whirlpool is not stagnant in one place, it keeps on slowly moving. Plus there is a centripetal force. And when somebody goes into the centripetal force, he is pulled down and dies. If this is understood, in the same manner, life is a constant flow. And therefore, life is common for everyone. Hunger, thirst, confusion, anger, greed, lust, desire. It's common. Health, unhealth. This is how the life is flowing in one direction from birth to death. In between, there are these bhauras. And which are those? They are our identification with a particular body. And then in that whirlpool, what happens? There is a centripetal force. It pulls you down. In the same manner, with one body, when we get identified, we are pulled down with the body identification, and thereafter the whole life is lived only as body, for the body, on everybody. There is nothing more than that. To such an extent that we write autobiography of a bodybuilder. The whole life what we have done, only taken care of the body, body, body. And that is what we call as the spirituality. See friends. Therefore, it is necessary that our understanding should be brought away from the body as the self. So, chakshurbhyam brahmasheelabhyam sarvam bhati brahmatmakam tadvat atmanidehatvam ajnana yogataha. Then alatam brahmane naivam vartulam bhati suryavat tadvat atmanidehatvam pashyati ajnana yogataha. Now this is another very beautiful example. There is one full chapter in the Mandukya Karika. These Karikas are attributed to Gaudapada Acharya, and there is one chapter called as Alata Shanti Prakaranam. Now this is very beautiful topic, be attentive. See, Alata means, let us take a fuljadi, a torch. When the torch is standing in one place, there is only one glow spot. Or you take agarbatti for example. So there is only one small spot like a .com, a small spot which is bright. And when you start moving that little faster, then we start seeing a circle there. So the circle is appearing, but it is not. Exactly the same way. Similarly, tadvat atmani dehatvam. It appears as if it is the same body. The continuity of the body is like the alata or the circle which is appearing after the movement of the torch. So the continuity is not real. See. And when we thus, be attentive, when we thus start remaining in the utter present, there will be no circle. See? And when there is no circle, there is only one. And that is what is our essential nature. But what happens? We start creating circle. Jab hum bacche the tab ki baat hai. We never understand. Nobody is interested in our past. All the people are concerned, youngsters I am talking about, they are concerned about their future. But we oldies have no future, only past. And the youngsters have all the future to live. And as a result, we become a misfit there. Therefore, it is necessary that we do not go into It's round and round, the same thing again and again. When we were children, who cares? Therefore, alata brahmaena vartulam bhati. So it starts appearing as if it is real. But it is only an image created on the mind because of the fast movement of the torch in the same manner. It's only imaginary that we are the same body all through. Be attentive. If you digest this thought, you have secured A plus in Vedanta understanding. What is that? As every dream has a separate dreamer, so also every waking experience has a separate waker. Yesterday's I and today's I, not the same. If they are the same, we will never change. But haven't we changed? Body has changed, our liking has changed, disliking has changed, our priorities have changed, our values have changed. See? I as a child and I as an old person, how they can be one? See? When I was small, I could not lift that big rock. Now I am 80 plus. Now also I cannot lift that big rock. Therefore I am the same. Logic. See? Therefore, friends, come to recognize this principle, that the continuity of our body as one and the same body is an illusion. Come to recognize this. And this we can do only under one condition. Start living in the utter present. I gave you one example of the garland. Garland, we call it, it appears, but it is not. Because the continuity of the flowers is on account of the thread. If you remove the thread, where the garland has gone? Exactly the same way. All the wakers, they are like the fools, the flowers. So they are like the flowers, and through all those wakers, there is a continuity of the conscious principle. And then there is an appearance of a personality called as Mr. Garland. More the number of flowers, longer will be the garland. Older the age, stronger the ego. See? And when a child is hardly 4 or 5, only 4 or 5 flowers, small. And if there is only one flower, you cannot make a garland out of one flower. So if you start living only in the utter today, you have dissolved yourself in the absolute. And if we have dissolved ourselves in the absolute, no complaints, no achievement, no failure, and nothing to do, nowhere to go. Yesterday I went for some marriage in Ahmedabad. Hardly about half an hour or 1 hour I was there. Gujaratis have something called as, Hastamilap. So Hastamilap, then I went and blessed both of them, took their hand, and again another hands also I put. I said, now listen, Hastamilap, I don't know what you say, but I say you listen to that. First 10 years of your life, you are mad for each other. Tum bin jahu kaha, mad for each other. Next 10 years, made for each other. And rest of the life, only for each other. Thank you, Swamiji. I said, 1 minute. There is one more thing. What is that? Never mad at each other. So when I was doing that, I came and sat. One person was there. Swamiji, I want to tell you something. I said, I don't want to listen. No, please listen. Okay. You know, I attended your lecture in AMA, and in that lecture you emphasized one point. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Do this japa. And I don't know whether anybody has done or not. But in my life, I have never taken a mala in my hand and never chanted even once Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. But your mantra I started chanting. Then I used to sit down in my bed only because, you know, others will laugh at me. Oh, Papa has become spiritual. So I was feeling shy. But I like your approach. And then I used to sit in my bed and start chanting. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. He said, when I started doing it, I have changed so much myself. Now anybody coming and talking all worldly things, earlier I used to get fully involved. Politics and investment and the share market and this fella. Now I am relaxed. It makes no difference whether Obama comes or Osama comes. अपने को क्या है? Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Relax. Net result, you start living in the present. See, all spiritual practice is only this. Start living in the utter present all the time. If we do this thing, then alone the body identification will disappear. Otherwise, old memories and future worries together is called as body identification. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.